Happy New Year. Happy freaking New Year. Listen, I'm going to start off this podcast with a challenge. Here's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling a challenge. I think we need to connect with people a little more this year. Let's start it off with a bang, all right? So how many days do you go through not meeting one person, or even if you did meet one person, not remembering their name and anything about them? So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give away a t-shirt from Honey John University to the fifth person that sends me an email with someone's name and what they do for a living. So take some person that you met and find a little bit about them and send me an email. That's all I want. Tom@Boyder.co. And the fifth person, the fifth email that I get, I'll screenshot it. I will send that person a free Honey John University t-shirt. All right, so let's get on with the show. This is the Do You podcast, the show where I sit down with people I admire, doing things, be in situations that I think are really badass, and I talk to them about their defining moments and dissect the moves and connect the dots to how they got to where they are. In this episode, we talked to Carter Schultz, Reeves fam, one half of Air Music. Air Music is a music group. They started when they were 15, 16 years old. They are on the forefront of the digital age. They promoted all online. They have a small, tight-knit team that took them from recording in the closet with the wrong equipment to over 100,000 Facebook fans, 16 national tours, y'all. 16 national tours, and Carter's only 22 years old. He hasn't even started his career, but he's hit all these milestones, and I'm excited to hear from his side what we all want to know. How the heck did you guys do this? You know, who are the personalities? How did you make the connections? What were the moves, the critical moves you made early on to get to where you are now? And that's what we chat about. So let's catch up with Carter Schultz from Air Music. Boom, boom.
Hey, dude. Have we started? Is this the beginning?
Yeah, this is the very beginning.
Wow.
I am with Carter Reeves fam Schultz, and we're about to have a conversation. He's a friend of mine. He's an artist. One half of the music. Are you there? Did I lose you?
Oh, baby, I'm here. Full ears.
One half of the music group, Air Music, and he's just a good all around human being. So I decided to record our conversation today. What's up, Carter?
Not much, boy. Just laying sprawled out, half naked on my bed. It's the beauty of the 21st century.
Why are you always half naked?
Let's see. It started off, a wild impulsive move that became like a nice kind of gimmick, if I may. But I live comfortably like that.
I believe in half nakedness. I really do.
As you should. I sleep fully naked. And then I'm mainly half naked during the day.
We're gonna take it there. 2 minutes into the podcast, we're gonna talk about how naked we sleep.
Right. I mean, but it's rare that I'm ever actually fully clothed. So.
Did you ever hit a streaking phase?
I can't say that I did. Nah, man. I'm kind of a bitch in that sense.
Really? I had a streaking phase.
Tell me all about it.
I don't know. I mean, golf courses. I don't know. Like, it'd be fun, like random excursions where I felt like, if an event, and it wasn't even like a drunk thing. It was just like, something needs to be spiced up right now. And
an impulsive, liberating feeling.
Yeah. Now, if at this point in my life I saw someone do that, I'd be like, dude, like, just stop it. Go home. I would hate myself. I would hate that person.
Indecent exposure, bro. Yeah. You're going to jail for that one.
So let's get into it, man. What's up? Who are you, by the way? I don't even know who you are. I know you as a human. But what do you tell people? What do you do?
So the first thing I tell them is I love to link. I love to build. 2016 is our year. I'm an influencer. All those things that everyone hates to hear is exactly what I do. No, I'm totally kidding. So
2016, yo, we're gonna make it. We got
time to take over. I didn't even fuck with 2015 anyway, man. 2016. Nah, who am I? I am a full-time musician. I am one half of the band Air, like you already said. I do the lead vocals. And so Air is a band. We've been around for 5, 6, almost 6 years now. Been touring straight for about 5 years. So you could see me as more of the MC on stage. I'm kind of like bouncing all around on stage and trying to bring the energy to the crowd and trying to bring the energy, just for myself, because that's a nice 52 minutes of cardio every night while on tour.
It's important.
But yeah, I live in Brooklyn, New York. I'm surrounded by good people, good friends that I get to work with, but also, get inspired by. So
Of
I mean,
course.
you had Miggs on the podcast the other day, and he's my roommate. He's a good friend of mine, and like, it's nice to be surrounded by a bunch of other creative people. So
Of course. And the other half of your squad is David.
yes, sir.
He's we got to get him on the show. In the very near future. I'd like to hear his perspective of the growth of your guys' band and your
Right.
musical careers. And I will say that, going to the shows, you're the animated one. You're the one that's like bouncing around off of walls, and David's in the cut. You play well off of each other. You cover grounds that like each other aren't able to do themselves.
Of course.
How does your differences make you guys go so well together? And more so early on, was there something
Right.
where you were like, all right, this person has something I don't, so let's link?
Specifically live or just like relationship wise?
Relationship wise, because I feel like they all sort of intertwine.
Yeah, I mean, when describing and looking at what David's really good at and I'm not so good at, and what I'm really good at and Dave's not as good at, it's nice because we found that perfect harmony the way you said. So I think in terms of the live show, I think in the beginning it was just kind of like I would just go really hard, and I think we would both go really hard on stage, and it turned out where it was kind of like, okay, I keep up with that, and I've always been told I'm like the little monkey boy.
Very
So
monkeyish.
yeah, primate, nice stuff like that. But it's like, so for me, that kind of became my style on stage. Whereas David and I kind of realized, and we both fell into a rhythm, but in a good way. Whereas like, he was like, if I'm up there going just as hard as you are, one, the crowd is going to just be overwhelmed and they're not really going to know like what to grab onto.
Yeah.
But also, like, it doesn't display our personalities the same way. So I think naturally we just kind of like took the role as Dave would be like hitting with the smooth dance moves in the cut,
Yeah.
keeping it low key, sounding real good, and being firm and solid. Whereas I am at least a little bit more of a wild card where you have no idea what the fuck I'm gonna do, and I might be, shaking my head with my tongue out, staring at the sky, just doing insane
You
stuff.
definitely look like you have some serious issues at times.
Shit.
But great issues. They look like great issues. And now I'm curious about that because I know, working with people, was there ever a moment where you were almost, and be candid about this, almost like kind of not jealous, but like, oh, man, I wish like I had that element about Dave, or but I'm gonna let him have that because that's his strength.
Right. Of course, and I think that also speaks to the whole dynamic of the relationship in the sense of he's better at things than I am, and I'm better at things, and that's what makes it work. Whether it's like at a meeting and I can small talk for fucking 20 hours if you need me to, which is something that I'm really good at, and that's something.
I've seen it.
And that's something Dave just doesn't give a fuck about. He's like, oh, I don't have the patience for that, which is fine because he's the one who's bringing the music, which is bringing us to where we are in the first place. So sometimes I look at him and I say, damn, I wish I could produce that well. I wish I could be that good.
Yeah.
How cool would that be if I could creatively, contribute the same way? But then also I'm sure he looks at it in reverse and be like, damn, I wish I could hold small talk about the weather for 2 hours. Sometimes too, because, it'd be nice to have all of those things, but that's why we work so well together is because we both kind of have a little bit of each, so.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because, you were what, like 15, 16 when you started out together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a time where it's like, it's easy to get caught up in like what someone else has, but not focusing in on your strong attributes. So like if it was like, if we were playing Madden, right? You know how you get to see the attributes of each character?
Right.
You don't, when you're building a team, you don't want all the people to have the same attributes. And in your guys' case, it would be easy, as an 18-year-old kid to be like, frick, man, I want, like, get caught up in your ego and like, man, I'm doing it this way. And like over time, just having the maturity, I think it shows in your guys' success how you guys have been able to collaborate and both illuminate each other's strengths.
Right, and I just think it would make no sense, and as a product, as a fan, I wouldn't be as interested in something if it was two dudes doing the exact same thing.
And with both of your makeup, there's multiple personalities that are coming to your shows and being like, no, I'm the David of the crew.
Exactly.
I'm the Matt Miggs. I'm the Carter. Whoever. People want to identify. It's like playing basketball when you're younger. I remember being on the playground and you probably did this when you kind of call out, oh, I'm Kobe, I'm Shaq, and like each person picks their person to identify with. It goes all the way back to the Ninja Turtles. Actually,
I was trash, so I was always Brian Scalabrine, like check me out.
You're Todd McCulloch.
Yeah, just draining threes.
Nice.
I'm actually a really good defender. That's the one thing I pride myself in when it comes to basketball. I will play.
Defender means bad player.
Fuck you, bro. I know that I'm bad at everything else, so I just defend till
Dog, that is another example of you understanding your skills and saying, if I got to go in just to foul people, and if that's my role for the team, I'm going to go foul people.
You never know. You got to play hard, bro.
I actually just got a tweet come through. Someone just said, come back to Jacksonville. Have you been to Jacksonville?
Yeah, Jacksonville, Florida. We played this spot called Jackrabbits. It's good spot. Alex
Babe 143.
Hey, baby. Yeah, one of these days we will. We're right now looking to get, I think, some April and May touring going. We're looking to get some festivals, or we have some festivals lined up for the summer and stuff. So
how many tours have you guys been on at this point? How many tours?
If you just count how many times have we gone out on the road for more than a week at a time, it's like 16 or 17.
Holy crap.
Yeah, if you only count like full US sweeps, I think it's like 6 or 7 maybe.
But we're talking like 2 to 3 months at a time.
Nah, right? I mean normally it's 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, like 2 months for like a long one.
And it's back to back. I look at your dates and I'm like, I'm like, these guys are doing it again. Every time I look up, you're either dropping something or traveling, and I mean that's how we've been able to keep in touch over the years. Like you come through the town and just come through and say what's up, and I've seen you 6 or 7 times.
Exactly. I mean, if I were still just living up in Boston, like it would suck. I feel like we wouldn't be able to see each other as much, and I mean that's what I love so much about touring. That is my favorite thing. I mean, so I'm a very organized person in the sense of I don't love living out of a suitcase, and at times it'll get really difficult living on a confined bus with 9 other dudes.
9 dudes is a lot of dudes.
Yeah, 9 dudes total, 8 dudes, but then we got the driver, so like 10 dudes. It's a lot. But
You gotta you gotta do down in the future, man. You gotta
yeah,
do
exactly.
down.
I feel you. But I mean, so that aspect of touring kind of always made me anxious, or not anxious, but just kind of like didn't sit well with me. But the thing that makes touring worthwhile for me is being able to see friends and fans, obviously. But it's so nice to say, I haven't seen you in years, but I'm gonna be in Portland, Oregon
Yes.
next week. We should hang out. Um, it's also great because you not only are you getting to reaffirm your relationships with your friends, but you can start relationships with fans in the sense of, we shout out Corelia. She's a big fan from North Carolina, and she's come now to 20 something shows, I want to say. And it's just crazy because every time she comes, I get to know her a little bit more. Which to me is just like the best thing about the tour is kind of like, being in a city that I wouldn't normally be in and being able to have your favorite lunch spots, breakfast spots, fans that and stuff. It's cool.
All right. So I chatted with Matt about the Feel I Bring video and kind of his visual end of it. I'm curious to hear your side of the story because, correct me if I'm wrong, that was sort of your
Yeah.
the first moment where probably felt like you had something.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that was on the Reach, so that was like our second, like, kind of or third, like, free album, mixtape, whatever you want
Uh-huh.
to call it. So we were still in the position of just like, we write music, blogs pick it up, we get more fans, we play shows, like, this is how it works. Um,
Now, were you doing shows at that point?
yeah, definitely. I mean, we had been doing shows. Yeah, we had just like started getting kind of like flown out for college shows and tried to link tours together. We were still in high school then, but right as we left, right as we graduated high school, like we toured that summer, like right out of high school, and we've been touring since.
It was straight to the league.
Right, but I mean, I don't know. People, I guess would like to hear some big story around that song and being like, realistically, we just were making everything that felt comfortable to us, and that's why if you listen to the Reach, there's dark songs and there's hip hop songs and there's like a couple feel good reggae songs.
You're experimenting.
Right, and that's what we've always done, and that's what we always want to do. Is to be able to do just what feels natural and what we think sounds good without having the confinements of, oh, they're a reggae band or they're a rap duo. And so I think that's kind of what the ongoing battle is always trying to balance all those things, while staying authentic to your sound and doing stuff you're generally excited about.
You, I'm gonna intercept you right here.
Yeah.
I in the Reach too. There's such a raw enthusiasm, and at that moment, I feel like you have the advantage of no one defining what you guys are. And like for any beginning artist out there, like they're all scared about putting stuff out, but I feel like there is such an advantage because no one's heard you before. There's no one talking. There's no like mold. You're
Right.
not even shaped yet. You have
There's no what kind of band are they?
Yeah.
It's
You,
you decide. You pick.
so when you were making the Reach, how did you know it was ready? How do you know at that stage when to drop it? Like what? Do you sit down? Do you have it
Right.
all mapped out? Because you're just two kids. You're two kids with equipment that you can buy at the
Guitar Center down the
Guitar
street.
Center. And that's another question. I want to know how much money, because everyone thinks that like you gotta put all this bread into putting something out. In reality, if you look at it, right, the amount of production money behind it, if you work on your craft, it doesn't take much. You don't need a $10,000 studio.
Right, exactly. I mean, you remember the kids who would come to, for me, it was the kids who would come to lacrosse practice with like the $1,000 lacrosse shafts, like these brand new heads, like, you know, the dopest helmets, these crazy light up mouth guards, and it's like, well, that doesn't make you a good player.
Yeah.
And so I think that was what the main thing was. Well, at least we didn't have the best gear. We were recording the majority of those vocals with like a live performance mic, which if you ask any engineer, he would cringe or she would cringe and say that we're crazy. But that was the beautiful thing about it. And like you said, it was kind of this raw, natural thing. And I don't even think it was, we reached a point where it was like, okay, we think these are done, but now we need to edit them. We need to make them the best we can be. Like, da-da-da. It was just like, this is a collection of whatever, 12 songs. Each song feels really good. Each song is done. We like what we're saying. We like how we sound. There was no question. It was just a natural, like, okay, this is done.
Put it out.
Right. I mean, not to mention our manager, Max. Shout out, Max.
What's up, Max? Maxwell.
I know you're listening. Like
Max God is watching.
Like, and having Max, someone who always had his finger on the pulse in the music industry, at least like the kind of evolving blog world, which really defined a lot of artists who came up around us and like kind of with us. The blogs were so important and obviously still are, but you know, had Max not really said, all right, guys, here's a timeline. We should try and reach this timeline because, you know, we'll premiere it with a certain blog. We'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this. I think all of that really helped to put the juice behind Feel I Bring. Even though we didn't know necessarily Feel I Bring was going to do what it did, but we knew that it should be a single on the tape. So, I mean, when we heard it, we knew it was definitely something special, but obviously you can't predict the future.
Yeah, and that is a defining moment, and I think it's cool that you had someone like Max there, and it's important for, you know, artists, especially, you know, how old were you guys when you wrote that? Probably 17?
Yeah, 16, 17.
16, 17.
It was actually an older song too that we kind of like reworked.
You refreaked?
Yeah, a little bit.
How old?
I don't know, probably 16 years old was when it was like the idea. Dave wrote the chorus and the hook, and like the general groove, I think maybe like a year before we released it.
And was that didn't you have another band, or there's a couple of guys and then it kind of blew down to you guys?
Yeah, that song was not for them. We actually, so yeah, there was 4 of us, and we broke up junior year, like winter of junior year. It was just kind of like a lot of heads in one spot, and then also just, you know, I mean, our bassist got into techno, and our guitarist likes more rock, and Dave was on drums, and I was singing, and I was like a shitty singer at the time, and I don't know, it was just like a lot going on for 4 kids who were about to like graduate high school. You know, some of us wanted to do this every day and like wouldn't stop until we died. And then, you know, others were, you know, I got to go to school, or maybe I can take 1 year off. So, you know, it was cool. I mean, being in that band gave me the discipline of showing me that I can work on music, and that I have and I have the patience, and I have the mind for it. But yeah, Dave and I kind of started working the winter of junior year, and then we put out the Feel I Bring video September of 2011, but we graduated May of 2011.
And that was like that was on the Reach.
Yes.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
And yeah, I like these moments. You're gonna like what I do here, because everyone is sort of reaching for that defining point. You know, you guys are on the forefront of like this digital music age where people can make a nice living off of independent, small, creative, forward-thinking teams, right?
Right.
And you have different elements, and there's, you know, a huge component of it is linking up with Max,
Right.
How did that whole connection happen? Max, your manager, Max Gredinger, he's such a solid human being. I actually ran into him in a sushi joint in Los Angeles.
Really?
Yeah, I was eating with Ash.
You get the
Uh,
crazy maki or what?
I don't even know what we ordered. It was like, you know how they bring it out, like there's like multiple courses and they bring it out and they make you eat it right away. I don't we don't have that stuff in Westchester, Pennsylvania. They
They
just
force feed you?
yeah, they force feed you, but it was delicious. But he walks in all tall and I'm like, who's this tall dude looking at me all goofy? It was Max. But yeah,
How did that happen?
how
Right? That was the question?
yeah. How did you guys connect with Max, and what led you to trust him? Um,
Right.
and because you're 16, 17, like, is that the first person that
Of course,
reached out
yeah.
to you? You know, it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we trust you.
Right. So, I mean, Dave and I were. So, the way we were with the band was like the 4-piece band beforehand was we were stoked when the local open mic would let us play in front of 7 people, you know? So we were totally closed off to the world of music blogs, to the world of like, just internet promotion in general. And like, being able to build a buzz that way. So what I do, so Max actually, David and I grew up in Wayland. Max grew up in Wayland as well. He went to private school, but I went to Temple with Max in my earlier years, and we kind of knew each other from that. And actually, my older brother is good friends with Max's older sister. So I always knew of him, and he knew of me. But I knew that he had a music blog. So when Dave and I made our first project, 2010, our junior year, I just kind of hit him up on Facebook and was like, hey, man, just wanted to send this over to you. If you like it, can you post it to your blog? And if you know any people at other blogs, can you have them post it too? I'd really appreciate it.
Is that exactly what you said?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could pull it up, actually. Should I see if I have it?
See if you can pull that up. I'm very interested in what that was, because those comments can be very reachy. And there's a way to address that where there's so much of that nowadays. People hitting you up, yo, listen to my tape, and
right, of course. I don't think it was reachy though, given it was like a whaling connection.
Yeah,
and like, I think I might have reached out in more of like a constructive way.
Yeah.
Like, let me know what you think. No pressure. It wasn't like, yo, fam, like, let's fucking go.
No, I'm sure it wasn't. That's why I wanted to take a look at it so anyone listening can kind of get the drift. There's really nothing worse than, I mean, I know we talked about it on the Matt one, but I was just remembering this moment. I'm DJing a couple weeks ago, and the dude is like, just comes up to me and tells me that I'm missing out. And like, it's a shame that we haven't, like, that he hasn't pushed my stuff yet. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to push my stuff. I really can't do anything for you.
Well, yeah, the whole like, don't be such an idiot. I have a huge opportunity for you. It's like, yeah, but I'm trying to make my own huge opportunities right now. Like, I appreciate it, and I'm sure at some point in the future we will cross paths, but like...
And yeah, people see this network that you've built and gradually, and that's based off of the likability of you. That's based off of the fact that when you call them, they know that you're going to bring something of value to them. I'm not just going to throw something that like, oh yeah, here, I'm going to throw everything I see and forward it through to Scooter Braun. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
You got to come with a presentation and
well, that's what you learn that too, being in the world is kind of like, as much as you love to link certain people, I mean, vouching for someone is a very big thing. Co-signing something is a very big thing. So, you can't be that guy who's just co-signing anything that comes your way.
Because
else your word won't have nearly as much of a meaning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I found the message.
Oh, cool. Read this message.
All right.
Give me the date and time of day.
Okay, ready? Carter Schultz, July 14th, 2010. Okay.
Wow.
It's 2:58 p.m. Just for the record.
2:58.
What up, bro? My friend David and I just released our demo for air. It's pretty tight. Beats definitely hip hop influence. If you could just check it out, man, that'd be sick, and we'd appreciate it a lot. Sent him over the media fire zip, and I get back like 7 minutes later. Dude, this is really impressive. No shots. This sounds great. Who's singing? Who did the production? Said, David Von Mering and I produce, sing, make beats. We do it all on our own in his basement. Ha ha ha. It's fun shit. I'm real glad you like it, man. Thanks. And the rest is history. But I mean, it was funny. I remember the follow-up to that was he gave me a call and he was like, hey, do you guys want to have a meeting?
How long after?
I think 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after. He was like, do you guys want to have a meeting? And we were like, for sure. And I remember telling my parents, and they were like, oh, that's cute. Like, oh, they're having a meeting with a manager. So cute.
And the manager's like your same age. He's like a
right,
year
exactly.
older than you.
So he comes over to my house, and we're sitting in the backyard, and we're like talking all this business stuff. And it's funny because, like I said, David and I we were so oblivious to the whole world that Max was in, and Max had always wanted to be involved in. So he was like, if you guys are interested, like, here's what I would do for you tomorrow if we decided to work together. You know, we'd get a photo shoot. We'd get, like, cover artwork. We need to get the songs mixed and mastered. We're getting you on blogs. We're going to premiere it on Good Music All Day. And shout out Good Music All Day. They have been huge supporters since day one. And, like, we wouldn't be where we are without them.
Shout out Good Music All Day.
Seriously.
Who's your people? Let's say some names, man, because those voices, man, they mold and they choose. They're the gatekeepers.
Right. Tim Weber has always been behind us and just like a real good dude. And I remember way back in the day, our friend Becky Bolton, she put us on to Good Music when she was writing for them way back in the day. So it's been cool. There's been like a really good blog community that's like shown so much love over the years, which is just important to have that consistency. But, you know, that was something David and I knew nothing about, and then Max kind of opened our eyes to. So now I can say the rest is history. I mean, he got us on the road. He got us, you know, the right people on our team. He said, you know, you can be a band, but don't be an internet band. We're getting you out on the road like as much as you can be, which, you know, like I said, living out of a suitcase, at first it was a daunting thing to me, but you know, once I kind of got the hang of it, I was like, damn, like the road is not only where you're face to face making fans and meeting friends, but you know, that's the live performance is where the money is these days, and the festival life. It's, you know, shout out Max.
Shout out Max, man. And when you met him, so what was the next proceedings? Did you talk to your parents like, hey, we're gonna let this kid manage us? Was it a word of mouth? I mean, not word of mouth. was it like a handshake? Was it a word of mouth agreement? That makes sense. Was it like a handshake agreement where you're like, yo, you're just gonna do it, and you know what happened if he didn't deliver? You know, when was everything official? When were you officially dating on Facebook? Is basically what I'm saying.
I think it was about a year. I think we worked together under a handshake agreement for maybe like 8 months, 9 months. Okay. And then, and we were all like, wow, this is going great. We're all feeling this. So, and Max being the savvy and smart businessman he was like, I just want to get something in writing, you know, let's not forget that this is a real business, especially, you know, and my parents weren't thrown off by it at all because they were oblivious to it too. They were just kind of like, "Oh, it's cute, you know, David and Carter making music in their basement, like, cool. They have a manager, like, cute." It was only until they saw the shows with people there, like real human beings with hair and stuff, like in the crowd,
with like personalities and brothers and pets and things like that.
And then they saw like the merch selling and money coming in. And not to say the second they saw that, they got involved and hopped all over it, but they realized, okay, this has legitimate potential. This can be a career. So that's kind of when they stepped in and they were like, okay, Max, great to meet you. This is great. I'm so glad we're getting this going. Like, how can we help? How can we be involved just to make sure everyone's safe, everyone's doing a good job, and no one's getting fucked over?
Yeah.
You know,
It's easy to feel the pressure from your parents because they want what's best for you, and they want you to know that you're just working hard and like you can make a living for yourself. Now that puts a lot of pressure on a kid that's trying to decide against the percentages. It's very slim numbers for people who make money off of music. Very slim.
Right.
You know, there's so many musicians. There's not that many people making money off of it. So your parents, they have to have been slightly skeptical. And for like, you know, there's 15-year-old kids listening to this right now saying like, my parent wants me to do this. So there's got to be, you know, I think you guys did it the right way where, you know, I mean, you were lucky that it took off before you had to make the big decision. Is this
right?
Am I going to school or am I going to follow my heart's path here?
Well, actually, I mean, because the whole applying to schools, taking the SATs, going to visit schools process was happening before we kind of realized that we had something going. But with that being said, David and I agreed the second we started, we were like, we're going to take a year off and we're going to work hard for that year. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll go to school. We'll reevaluate.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that approach.
I told
Plant
that
your feet in the ground. Go ahead.
Exactly. Sorry. I told that to my parents and my mom was like, I mean, my mom values, higher education a lot, which is great. And I realize now why she does 5 years later. But she said, that's fine. Like, take your year off, learn, live alone, pay your bills, like grocery shop, do you. You're going to learn so much from that. But you're not doing that without having applied and gotten into a college and then defer for a year. So worst case scenario, I'm going to end up in school, which ended up being really cool because I got a letter I was actually going to go to Rollins in Florida, which is, I've been told, just like a country club of a school, which now may not have fit who I've become. But regardless, I remember getting a letter from them, waiting for me at home when I got home from tour in the fall, saying like, looking forward to having you next year. Just like, check yes if you're coming, check no if you're not. And I remember checking no and being like, I got at least another year of this shit. And 5 years later, we're still going. So.
Maybe one more year, guys. Hold your horses.
Exactly. I'm gonna hit them up like 2 years from now. Like, hey, so can I come back? Or just kidding. I won't do that.
So to blow through that confusion, the communication was key there. You set the precedent with the rents, with the people around. You say, yo, this is where we're getting on this boat. We're gonna sail out, and we're gonna go for it. If not, we have this backup plan. And I think that year, I mean, if there's anyone who's even close to second guessing why or what they're going to school for, I think a year, get a bartending job, get a serving job, just go somewhere.
100%.
Like, do whatever you can to figure out where you're going to invest your time and money. Like, people forget that, like, going to college is an investment. It's placing a huge bet on your future. You're not going to know 100%. It's great to be close to at least knowing. I went to school clueless. I would have loved that year. I went to a state school. It wasn't that much. I know people that are in the whole 100K right now and still don't know what they want to do. Take that year.
Right. I literally could not agree more. Because what I wanted to do senior year, had I gone to school, is different than what I would want to do now. Not only that, but in terms of investing your time, it's such a huge time investment. But not only that, it's the craziest financial investment. I mean, you're spending so much money. You're putting either yourself in debt, or if you're fortunate enough to have your parents help you with college, like that's great. But the thing is what people don't realize is like, oh, I have to go to college. That's the next step. That's where I go. And halfway through their junior year of college, they're finally like, oh, I'm really interested in this.
Yeah.
Now I have a year and a half focusing on this, which is cool. At least you figured out what you want to do, but you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whereas if you take a year, take 2 years, you realize who you are as a human, and then you start college and you're investing hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you're getting 4 years worth of useful education because it's based on what you actually want to do. So, people often ask me, oh, are you going to go back to school? When are you going to college? I hear that all the time. And
oh man,
yeah,
I can't imagine how your heart feels when that's said. College is everywhere. Learning is lifelong. Like if you think that having to pay 80 grand to an institution that is basically a business, right, and it is going to make you a more enlightened individual, and you're out of here. You're insane. Like, you can go on the internet, you can buy a book, learning is your choice. It doesn't matter if you're in a classroom or not. You choose what you want your education to be, no matter if you're giving money to anyone. I think just putting that investment there is, it makes people feel more committed to it, but that's your decision. That's all mental. You can decide. You can create your own life curriculums.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, and...
Sorry, I just went on a rant.
No, I agree. I mean, what I tell people isn't like, yeah, you'll see me packing up my station wagon with my guitar and stuff, like going to be a freshman in the dorms. Like, that's not what I want. But like you said, knowing where to invest your time. I mean, reading a book about French Renaissance art, that might suck and be the worst thing. That also might be really interesting for me. And then I can just take a class on that if I want to educate myself on that.
Like, why do these kids got to take these prerequisites?
Right. I mean, I just see so many people
who... I'm going to take the class I want to take.
Exactly. And I just don't see people, like, thirsty for knowledge until they realize what it is they want to know. And so it's like, why are you just sitting there wasting your time when... And I'm not saying don't go to college.
No,
I'm
not
saying,
at all.
I'm saying
if
you're gonna spend money and you're gonna spend your time and money doing something, make sure it's doing something that'll help you.
Exactly.
Which I think a lot of people don't realize when it's short-sighted and you're living in your high school bubble and then you just kind of ship off to college. But it's like that's something you realize as you get older. And I mean,
it is something you realize older, and that's why I'm trying to make a point of it now for people that kind of have seen, all sides of the spectrum here. And it's, if you know what you want to do, right? College makes so much sense. If you know that, like, that major, you're investing your money, your hard-earned
international business major, like, okay, go do that. Boom, that's dope.
That's where you do it.
Hello, this is a bathroom break brought to you by Honeyjohn University. And listen, the challenge today, I mentioned it in the intro, is to meet one person. Simple as that. One person, find out a little bit about them, what they do for a living or what makes them happy, and send that information to tom@boyder.co, and we will be picking the fifth person, the fifth email that comes in, to send them some free swag from Honeyjohn University. And good luck and have fun with it. Enjoy meeting this person. Tell them I said hi, actually. Tell them I appreciate them for meeting you, a listener, a supporter of this podcast. I'll stop talking. I'll bring, I know you're here for Carter, but I'm just trying to get mine real quick. And we're going to keep moving. Also, if you have any suggestions for who I should talk to or any questions I should ask people, email me at the same email, tom@boyder.co, and we'll keep it moving. All right, Carter, come on back.
All right, if you were starting off, I'm gonna transition this right now.
Mm-hmm.
if you were starting off right now, right, and you had no internet presence, you have
Yep.
no face recognition, you have
Yep.
$500, a
Yep.
MacBook Pro, and what would your first 3 steps be to building your career as a musician?
That's difficult because there's a lot of steps. I have $500. Okay? Well, if I'm living in New York, I mean, with the money, I would set up a rudimentary studio in the sense of like just putting a $200 mic in my closet, and that's all I really would need. Um, I would write my fucking ass off. I would build. I think there's an advantage to not having that presence yet, is because you can make a whole lot of music, do what feels comfortable, and then base who you are around that music versus already having an online character and then trying to sell people on the music that you're making. So I think I would take time and I would write hundreds of songs to find out what I'm best at, find out what sounds best, most natural, and then I would brainstorm an image around that, whether it's suave peacoats and suits or if it's, like grungy punk look or whatever, and build a cohesive image to go hand in hand
Cool.
with whatever it is my product is. So I'd buy a mic and then I'd write a lot of fucking music and I would show face.
I like that, man. Create first, and then build whatever the image is off of that.
Right.
It's there because then it's coming from your true nature, your true presence. Now, what's
and then,
your? Go ahead.
Sorry. And then I was just saying show face too, like become a part of the community more than just a person on the internet. Which I know you and Matt were talking about, so we don't need to get too deep into it, but like be around without being, like Matt said, thirsty and being around too much. But knowing knowing the advantages to being in the right place at the right time and just meeting people and generally making the city a smaller place, making it a community so that when you do finally have this product that you're going to put out, you have friends and people who will support it.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And I know we did touch on it before, but it's okay again because I think it's very important that each person, right, that you come across, right, it's one person. All you got to do is talk to one person. The
Right.
conversation is with you and an individual. And if you have one solid one a day, whether it's learning to small talk with the person at the coffee shop or waiting at the bank, whatever, one person, just focus on one person a day, and that adds up. So then when you're in those real moments where it matters, it's casual. It's not out of your nature to just strike up a conversation. Eventually, these things add up, and you don't know where certain personalities will land as far as building your career, but it doesn't
Right.
matter.
Exactly. And I mean, it's just genuine, like the authenticity of just saying, I know no one, and I know no one, and I know that I'm in a position, I'm an underdog, but that doesn't mean I'm not a confident person who just wants to have a good conversation. And I think that can equate to, huge results if you and that friend end up, hey, for all you know, he plays bass and he's an amazing bassist, or she plays bass, and there's a connection that you never thought you would have made. So I think what I've done a lot, like in living in New York, is just like you said, just trying to meet someone every day, because why the hell not?
Why the hell not? But it's not everyone, right? It's just one person that over time someone's going to add up. Someone's brother's friend it owns this magazine, and then like that plug, it could be the ultimate thing, and it's not. You're right. It's not with that in mind, but
right, exactly. Right, that would, yeah, you don't want to chase that, but if that's great if it came. But also what I've realized is if you meet someone who has no interest in your industry and doesn't do anything related to what you want to do, and in the most fucked up way to say it, has no value towards what you're trying to do personally, which obviously sounds, like rude, but that's still a good person to have on your side because it's a genuine connection that you've made with someone, which I think is so much more important than, oh, I followed her on Twitter and I've tweeted her a few times, like hopefully she like recognizes me or which I just don't see being worth the investment nearly as much.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised that like the rarest contacts in the world, maybe 4 years down the line, you're doing something else in an industry where they have a monstrous connection, and it's everything's sort of like networks have a weird way of overlapping where you're like, I never would have thought it would have came through this person. There's people that I met that was by accident, and now they're the right hand man to like some moguls out there. There's people that I've been to places where I remember putting almost too much pressure into meeting certain individuals at at events or whatever, and then I find out that afterwards, I met that person's assistant, and I didn't even mean to. I was like sitting outside and just chatting it up, and I was like, oh, that was cool. And then, but when you're actually talking to them, you're like. You're trying to be too professional, too not yourself, but like where the strong connections come from just being yourself and being genuinely
and that's
interested.
the genuine, and that's so much more important. That'll go so much further because you put too much weight on how do I approach this person? What am I gonna say if you're trying to meet some high key person? But like when you're just people being people, like that's when you'll have the most opportunity to like capitalize off of that because
you're good with humans, man.
It's natural.
I've seen you in action. You're on video shoots. You're good at and not in like a performance-y way, but you're good at making sure everyone is feeling light and funky, and your whole energy is welcoming, and that just comes from years of just genuinely just doing that and just trying to bring the best out of each individual you're around. I want to get back to the one moment you talked about is tons of writing. Do you have a writing routine? Do you have, you say, hey, I'm going to write a verse a day, or I'm going to come up with a concept a day. Is there anything that keeps you
regimented
and with an artist's brain, it's easy to follow the next butterfly and just like walk out the door and forget life.
So no, I don't have a routine. Should I? Yes. Do I follow the butterflies? Yes. Do I feel deep down like maybe I've taken advantage of the position that I'm in at certain times? Yes. But I see that as part of growing older as well. I mean, if you told, telling an 18-year-old you don't need to work a 9 to 5, you live in your own apartment, you can drink, you can smoke, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Of course, I'm not going to wake up at 8:30 every morning, go to the gym, make myself a smoothie, be productive for 6 hours, and then like, go have a beer or two. But like, so part of me does look back and say, damn, I really wish I had taken advantage of that time. But I think it's recognizing that now, and saying, and looking back and also realizing like, wow, I really have done a lot, and I have made this really good base for my career. But it's finally realizing now, 5 years later, this is just the beginning. This is really, really just the beginning. And now it's because of this mentality that I am getting in a regiment. I've been writing, 2 verses a day. I'm trying to do that because worst case scenario, I write a bunch of trash, but I don't write trash naturally. So best case scenario, I have $1 million hit on my hands. Dave and I have some, the next radio banger. So, you got to put your 10,000 hours, which, had you told 18-year-old me, you got to do 10,000 hours, I would laugh at you and be like, psh, I'll be smoking and playing Madden for 10,000 hours. Sure. But, now realizing that the world has been lucky. I've been lucky enough that the world has provided me with this unbelievable opportunity. And not only that, but the world has provided me with people who care about this and people who want to see us succeed and people who just love us for the music we make and for who we are. And so I think because I've been given such a gift, the only way to reciprocate is to prove to the people that I'm heads down working and trying to be the best person I can be so that I can continue to spread, what needs to be spread.
I'm with you on all that. Whereas, I'm gonna bring a sports metaphor, and I don't know if you've been affected by this, but my dad used to tell me the worst thing that you can do in your first baseball game of the season is hit a home run, because then the rest of the season you're going to be reaching for that home run. You're going to be you're going to equate each game to that home run, whereas it's the singles over time. And to be honest, working with Ash, we hit a home run out the gate. You guys hit a home run out the gate,
right,
where it's the singles over time. The line drives up the middle that you should really be aiming for, and eventually you're going to keep getting more home runs from those. But it's getting people on base and having that consistency over time, which creates a long-standing career out of this stuff, out of anything.
Right. Yeah, and I mean that's just something that took time for me to realize.
The home run is great for the attention. It gets you that recognition. Now all you just got to do is just keep the bases circulating, and it's cool that you're. How old are you right now?
22. You're
22, and you're 20 freaking 2, and you realize this. Holy crap, that's insane, man. The other thing I want to throw out to you, and for anyone that is a creative, this has been something that I've been implementing. I heard this. The guy BJ Novak from The Office?
Yeah.
He was talking about this when he was a writer on The Office. He was talking about this blue sky period that all the writers would have. So they'd get together for 3 to 4 weeks, right? And this was like the first stage of writing the show. They get, on a whiteboard, however they threw their ideas up. It was called the blue sky period, where everything was a good idea. They didn't turn anything down. Literally everything they said, they went up. It'd be 3 to 4 weeks of this going on. And he'd say they do that, and then they look at them all and be like, okay, that idea moves me. That idea moves me. They take their favorite. I don't know how many they boil them down to their favorites, the ones that even if the writing was bad, it'd still be a solid, interesting concept. Even if like once they brought that together, there's something there that made a lot of sense, and I love that idea because it separates the two stages of your mind, where it's the one is the creating, but then it's the other one, it's the editing form, where you're breaking it down. You're saying, okay, what am I going to title this? What am I going to name this? Who's going to listen to this? And you can look at all that afterwards if you do it in this way. And I've applied it to songs, different ideas for videos and things like that, and it works well. So you might be able to do that with the writing process. I don't know if
definitely. I mean, that's what sometimes I have trouble with, is trying to build a verse or write a line in my head and coming up with ideas and saying, oh no, that doesn't work.
That doesn't go anywhere.
And before I even write it down, I'm already on to the next idea. Whereas what I've started to do is just say literally anything that pops into my head with the same vibe, mood, or concept of what I'm building on, write it down. Because worst case scenario, I don't use it. Best case scenario, I use it. Middle case scenario, I look at it and it makes me think of something else that I then will use. Yes. So it's there's really no downside. And I remember back when I used to be falling asleep for some reason. I mean, I'm sure everyone has this, but falling asleep, I get my best ideas when my mind is in this weird wandering state of half awake, half asleep. And I used to do what a lot of people do, which is messed up, which would be, I'm half asleep. I want to go to sleep. I'll remember this idea in the morning. Next morning, gone. Whereas now it's like, okay, I'm going to pry myself out of bed to write this down because for all I know, that could be my hit song. But And what's the price? You know, getting to bed 2 minutes later, like that's fine with me. Whereas if I forget that idea forever, you know, it's gone.
And
Right.
that's such a fleeting moment, just sitting there. Oh, was it about the that time that I met that? Oh no, like you're trying to bring it
Exactly.
back. You're trying to get yourself in the frame of mind. No, I've been there. Where do you record your ideas? You do like just notepad in your iPhone, or
Yeah, notepad in my iPhone. Unless it's like a melodic idea, then you know
you
the
hum it?
the voice pad, or whatever the voice memos.
Yo,
Um,
when are we gonna write a smash, dog?
dude, I'm open for it. Let's go.
I got concepts.
I know you do, bro. Well,
My
you and I
concepts
just,
are messed up.
bro, we just need to like write music, and if it becomes a Boyder Carter Air song, then it does. If it becomes, you know,
Nah,
if we
I
if
wanna I wanna write. I wanna write some. I mean,
let's write songs for Bieber.
let's write some. Yeah, is that who you want to write it for?
Fuck, I don't care. Like if I
All
can get
right,
the check cut and write a good song, then game on.
let's. All right, whoever's listening to this, um,
Get us in touch with Bieber. We got hits.
well, we could. That's something that I can arrange.
Oh,
But
flex.
I mean, not the flex, but like we said before, if we're gonna go to JB, we need to come correct because we don't want the ideas. Oh man. I mean, now we get the benefit of the doubt and say, but that first time you come, it's like the first sentence of your paragraph. Are people gonna read into your creative ability longer?
Right,
So
right.
maybe we do. Maybe we commit. The people hearing this, we let them know. Um, and in 6 months we check back in and we kind of talk about the concept of where we're at. I think that'd be a fun ongoing thing. Let's write a joint for Justin Bieber together.
Okay, it's on. I already have like, yeah, we both got shit
we we, we have stuff
that
now.
beats your crush.
I like shooting for JB because if we miss JB but it's still a solid concept and it sounds great, right? We can miss and hit someone else. So you aim high, and if it doesn't meet his brand at the time, maybe there's someone else. Maybe it goes to Ariana. Maybe it goes to someone else on the roster. How would you do that? So say me and you, and I know we got to wrap up, and you got like 10 more minutes.
Yeah, I'm looking at maybe 5.
5 minutes. All right. So let's
Yeah.
close it out. Right. If we were to write a song together for
Yes.
Justin Bieber,
Yes.
how would you want us to start this process? Me now I'm trying to set this up for people. I live in Westchester, Pennsylvania. You live in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
We're 2 hours away. It'll
Yep.
be a digital relationship.
It will. I say we start by each working on our own concepts, bring them together. Like I said, I got some things that I have in mind, and
Okay.
I know you do. And then blue sky period, that shit where we just are throwing ideas around what we've already built on our own. You know, figuring out what's best, what works, and then both go back, try and work on some melodies, try and work on some cadences, bring it back again, and just build it. You know.
I like it. I like it. We're gonna do it June. Let's have at least 3 concepts we can talk about in June and talk about the next stages of getting them to JB.
Done.
All right, word. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up with a couple questions for you, my man.
Yes.
The last 3 songs on your iPod that you've played.
That I played.
Yeah, not your stuff. Stop listening to your own stuff.
Okay, well, I mean, I was listening to Back to Black this morning because Amy's my girl. So, Some Unholy War, He Can Only Hold Her, and Just Friends were my last 3. Those are all Amy Winehouse songs on Back to Black.
Bang.
She's my girl.
Bang, bang, bang. A person who isn't a public figure but deserves a documentary.
Oh shit. Um. Ooh, that's good. That's good. Okay. My brother's dog Wallace, or Mike Trueblood.
Why?
Why Mike Trueblood?
Yeah.
The man is the man is the man behind the men. You know.
Perfect.
And God, pause. That's you know what I'm trying to say.
Nah, I know. Shout out True Blood. True Blood is such a solid individual, man.
You know, the unsung hero.
He's
if
like
I
the
may.
man's man. He's the man's man. All right. We gonna hit it with two more.
Okay.
Your dream collaboration.
Cuddy,
Cuddy.
Cuddy, and Dot. Like being in the studio with Cuddy and Dot the Genius.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They're good human beings. I have a Cuddy story. We don't have time to get into it. But long story short, Cuddy's almost an enigma, and we were kind of unsure about the his character because he was just mysterious when we were on tour with him, and he did something really generous one day, and he won me over as a human being for life. Whereas like it was a weird time for him. He was trying to find out who he was like after that first project dropped, and he really did something. That I thought was badass, and he helped me and a friend out who needed who needed like an hour and a half long lift because we missed our bus, and it was just cool. He extended his arm, and I was like, hey, Cuddy's a solid human being. All right, let's keep it moving. What book or movie has inspired you the most? Movie if you don't read.
I read nonfiction, so it's not really inspiring. I mean, it is just in a different way.
Wait, like that's the
I'm looking
definition of inspiring. They're like meant to inspire.
What, nonfiction? Well, I'm reading. Well, okay, Scar Tissue by Anthony Kiedis definitely inspired me the most. Like I read it in a really good time in my life where I was ready. I needed to read something like that. In fact, I'm gonna read that again because I definitely need to read that book. But Scar Tissue, I mean, it's a book written by my idol, about my idol, like crazy stories, but like how he stuck with the music. I mean, they've got the longest career. They've got the ideal career, and like that's what I'd love to base our career off of. So I'd say Anthony Kiedis, Scar Tissue.
One thing you would tell your 15-year-old mind.
I don't want to say lower your expectations, but like have patience. I mean, I remember being like, by the time I'm 19, I'm gonna be like buying my parents a car and shit for Christmas, and it's like, bro, like you got to work hard and be realistic and be patient. I might want that car money when I'm 19, but I'm so thankful now that I didn't have that car money when I was 19. And that that car money is going to come 20, 23, 24, 25, which I think is a much safer time to be, getting that back. So I don't know. It's just manage your expectations, but set the goals and make sure, I'm doing what I can be doing to get towards them.
All right. And finally, how you going to kill 2016, fam?
Bruh. I'm a fucking wake up early. I'm gonna be hitting the gym.
Secretly though, as much as it's corny to yell it to the world, it is a good transitional thing.
Of course.
And like secretly, you want to be like, yeah, this is gonna be my year. So
it is. Of course.
I'm gonna flip it. In all seriousness, what are you gonna knock out the park in 2016?
What am I going to knock out the park?
Yeah.
The most Wild Air album you've heard. Like just music. I want to rip crazy festivals. In 2016, baby, it's going to be a fat alley-oop for 2017. Like, just keep going. I mean, I don't know. Just do it better and do it bigger.
Perfect. And where can people find you?
They can find me. I am at Reeves, REEVES _FAM, Reeves Fam. That's on Instagram, Twitter. And you can find freshairmovement.com and The Air Music at The Air Music is our Twitter and our Facebook too. So check us out, listen to the tunes, say what's up, tweet me, say hello, slide in my Instagram DMs, whatever you want, ma.
Shout out all of the Air family from all the characters, Max, David, True Blood, Migs, all your fans, man. Everyone always responds when I drop something, about your fan base. They're very loyal crowd, and it does take, as much as you had that one home run out the gate, you've had more home runs, and you've had a bunch of singles up the middle to accrue such a loyal and cultish following of a fan base, man. I go to your shows and everyone knows the lyrics that you guys sing. They're
Right.
the kids' eyes light up, and it was from those singles up the middle, and you're 22 years old, man, and I'm excited to see, where your 25, 30-year-old self is, and I hope we can, continue to build as friends and creators. But, thanks for coming on the podcast today.
Of course, man. Thank you, Boyd, for having me, bro. And obviously, like you just said, thanks to the fans who are like made it possible for me to even be in this situation. So
shout out you, man. Go put some clothes on.
Thanks.
And have a beautiful day, man.
All right, Boyd. Love you. Thank you. I'm doing me, and I'll see you soon.
Heartbeats.
Peace, bro.
Yo, you are still listening. Look at you. Thank you. Listen, if you want Carter and myself to write a song for someone specific, reach out to us on Twitter and tell us who. I'm at Boyder Yo, and Carter is Reeves Fam on Twitter, and use the hashtag DoYou3. DoYou3, and tell us who you want us to collaborate with to write a song for. So Carter and I are going to write a track, right? We were talking about Bieber in the podcast, which is cool. That's tight. He just came out with an album. Let's talk about someone who it might be on your radar that you think that we could collaborate and create some awesome content with and for. So hit us up at ReevesFam, at BoyderYo, and hashtag DoYou3. Love you so much. Have a beautiful day.